Hello and welcome to Wake Up and Smell the Mic S&P 500 review for Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. It's now the 5th. We start off in the S&P 500 daily chart at DeMark looking back to end of December 2021. I'll zoom into the current area now. The S&P 500 daily chart has printed the combo and sequential sell setup 6 count. And to negate that for end of day on the 6th, there must be a close below 4179.83 for the price flip to the buy setup count 1. So the count is past 5, and I call that getting long in the tooth. So as long as it can stay above this close for end of day on the 6th, it will print the 7, and then it starts getting a lot harder. So to print the 8, if it prints the 7, must be a close above that close on the 2nd there, and then the 9 would be required to be above this close if there's a 8 and 7 printed. You can see the upper Stark band was repelled by price, so Stark band level there, and the high was 4299.28. Price closed back under the channel 3 high, which bumped up from yesterday. So resistance to the upside for this daily chart will be the channel 3 high, the Stark band, and then the relative retracement up to will act as resistance until it becomes qualified and confirmed, or at least qualified. For it to do that, it must be above that level. So to the downside first is the mid band of the Stark band, and then the Ichimoku conversion line. Get through that. The trend factor down 1 is above the Ichimoku baseline, so it has to go through that first and the baseline, so there's pretty good support there. Break that, and there's the lower Stark band, and then under that it's guarding the propulsion momentum down for 50%. Under there is the channel 3 low and the ongoing demand line, which starts the day on the 6th at 4108.02. So a close below that level will qualify it. The NASDAQ 100 NDXHILO chart looks like the 5 EMA in blue is trying to pull back on the stick a bit. It's still in a pretty good downwards trajectory. It's below the red and now below the 21 EMA in gold. It looks like the HILO index went sideways a little bit, just barely went up a little. And the last time the blue 5 EMA went under the gold 21 back here, it just shot straight up. So this has really been incredible here, this sideways action, and a lot of up and down, and qualified by the Rock 12. You can see them all down here, so it's hard to keep up with. However, I did put some shorts on actually today, as it was going up for the last couple of days. So I did put a little bit on at the end of the day today. And really no change on the long-term KST, just as flat as a pancake here. It's well above 0. However, below its signal line here, looks like the intermediate term KST went above 0. It's at 3.58, and it went above its signal line, so that's a good sign for some up move eventually. But the short-term KST is going to have to right itself up here. It's a little bit below 0, so it needs to hook around, get back above 0 and its signal line, And until the long-term KST gets out of the doldrums here, it looks like there will still be more sideways action, as you can see here. These last two up and downs were when the long-term KST was flat, and the NASDAQ composite is just doing great. Look at that. That's been quite a run for the rainbow pattern. Blue above the red, red above the gold, both the blue and the red above the gold, evenly spaced and just headed straight up. Looks like the Rock 12 hooked around to the downside, so we'll have to see how that develops up here. Intermediate and long-term KST are looking pretty good there. Long-term KST looks like it wants to get above zero. It has already crossed above its signal line below zero, so if that gets above zero, that will be a good sign for even further upside. It looks like the short-term KST is just kind of stalled in this row here. And the New York high-low looks like it's making a torturous ascent for the blue 5 EMA to get near the 10 EMA in red. The NYHILO index in dotted right here looks like it's had a upwards trajectory for the last couple of days, but everything else is somewhat torturous. The Rock 12 is well above zero at 9.77. So if it happens on this run and just keeps going up and gets above that red, this blue one, and that will be well above zero, probably a lot further up than this, and well out of my plus or minus 5 from zero range to buy or short. And it looks like the intermediate term KST is the only one that's doing anything, and it's doing it below zero and possibly above its signal line. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit above the signal line and well below zero. Short-term KST looks like the NASDAQ composite is kind of stalled in this rollover, and it is below zero at negative 37. And the long-term KST is still in a slight downwards trajectory, and it's below zero. Signal line is above zero still, so it could redeem itself by getting above that, above zero. And again, I don't know what that will mean, or it won't do any good until we get another downdraft for the New York composite. It needs to get towards zero and then make the move to the upside, as long as it's between plus or minus 5 of zero. But if it just keeps going up, it will be out of reach to do anything.